there's a lot of AI news, it looks like, in the professional wrestling world the last, I would say 2 days or so. Am I right, people? I'm not going to discuss it all in LimitsCenter, but I'm definitely going to probably discuss it in a separate podcast, to say the least. Anyway, so what is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode Lucas E. Allen 1018 on YouTube and all audio platforms. Lucas E. Allen Show, which is LimitsCenter podcast for your Thursday, April 30th of 2026. On anything, you'll follow me on social media, say Zach Cyrus on Twitter and Instagram. Also, Lucas E. Allen 1018 on Instagram and TikTok. And also Facebook, Lucas E. Allen the Satellites. Watch today's podcast on YouTube. Hit the like button to today's podcast. Hit the subscribe button if you've done so already. Turn on the bell for your post notifications when uploads to our YouTube channel. And always, feel free to leave a comment on my episode of your LimitsCenter podcast for your Thursday, April 30th of 2026. Watch on Spotify, do the same thing. Leave me a comment and also a 5-star rating. Be very nice as well as say at least. So start today's news, man, the pro wrestling world. And by the way, probably not our LimitsCenter podcast out tomorrow, Friday, May 1st of 2026. There's a lot of news and also coming out today, obviously, in professional wrestling. We'll discuss the news in the previous day and probably so on and so forth, to say the least. In today's news, we're going to be discussing, it's ESPN unlimited to stream WWE, NXT, and CW sports content. We're going to be discussing that. I'm also going to be discussing a lot of my notes here about it a bit. Backstage news on why WWE had Evil debut, on why WWE had Evil debut and NXT over the main roster. Just until you figure out why. Be discussing that. Also, Carlos Silva, the world's most shillest freaking way to shill WWE, don't honestly, I was saying a word about them. Carlos Silva addresses his decision to pull TNA talent against AEW stars, to say the least, like Nick Nemeth and also Leon Slater against Ricochet and MJF respectively. Be discussing that. Also, Montreal, Canada, Quebec, Canada, obviously, is a possible city to host AEW Redemption. So if you don't know what that is, a new pay-per-view coming out in July, I believe, before All In. Be discussing that. Also, in Charlie, my favorite women's wrestler in the world, is the former Dakota Kai, addresses if she is looking to get signed by a major promotion. So on today's podcast, go ahead and join Maybe It's Us on today's Thursday, this is LimitsCenter, for Thursday, April 30th of 2026. On today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And starting with, you guessed it, ESPN Unlimited to stream WWE, NXT, and CW sports content. WWE and the CW Network have announced a new streaming partnership that will bring NXT to ESPN Unlimited subscribers. Other new to the deal, ESPN Unlimited will stream to CW sports content, which includes NXT. WWE also announced separately that NXT Premium Live events will air on the CW Network, which I hope stays that way. It does not go to ESPN Unlimited, honestly. It could be a possibility, but still. The deal begins in the summer, though no exact start date has been provided. Variety reported the news. ESPN Vice President of Direct to Consumer Strategy, Emily Hormowitz, I think is how you say that, described the partnership as a value add for subscribers. Says in a quote, "We think this is a real value to add for our unlimited subscribers. Adding more content that makes the product as attractive as we possibly can," Horowitz said. The CW Network President Brad Schwartz, I believe that's how you say his name, outlined the reason behind the chosen ESPN as a streaming partner. He says in a quote, we are hunting for a streaming solution, and the thing that we know was that the world doesn't need another direct-to-consumer product. We decided our strategy was to not go in to get to that challenge for people to, and that we were going to partner with somebody to do that. If you're going to find a partner for sports, the worldwide leader in sports is a pretty good one to go with, Schwartz said. Now, I don't know if I like this or hate it. I mean, as long as NXT PLE stay on the CW network, that's fine with me. But for example, if I have this weird feeling that ESPN is going to want the PLEs and stuff for NXT, that's going to be freaking out of hand. That's going to be out of hand. Because obviously WWE main roster PLEs are on ESPN Unlimited. And to say at least, I don't know if I like that idea for NXT, to be honest, the same thing as the main roster. So I hope it stays the same where it is maybe. I don't mind the ESPN, like NXT television shows being on this ESPN Limited Network. That's fine if you ask me. I just hope the PLE stay on the CW Network to say at least. That's my thoughts on this for sure if you ask me though. Speaking of NXT, backstage news on why WWE had Evil debut in NXT over the main roster. It's not that hard to figure out, people. Just look at this, understand who this guy is, and who he is. People don't know the lack thereof, if you ask me. Evil has made his WWE debut. He wasted no time making his intentions known. Evil appeared on Tuesday's episode of NXT from the WWE Performance Center. Erupted NXT champion Tony D'Angelo. And another Japanese symbol of a war 1 week after D'Angelo had received a mysterious package contained at the same symbol. Evil left without innocent, having made his pursuit of the NXT Championship clear. His debut comes at an interesting moment in NXT telepicture as D'Angelo was attacked by a return to Tavion Heights, and the Will debut and Will Cross in the same segment create multiple challengers for the champion simultaneously. Or simultaneously, can't freaking speak today. I'm gonna stop right there for a brief second though. I like that. I gave more contenders for Tony D'Angelo as NXT champion. We had 2 to 3 contenders, honestly. I like that. I should take notes of past champions like the past couple years and so. Is it like marquee names? Like, not really to say at least, but still. The decision to place Evil in NXT rather than the main roster raised immediate questions. Not me, honestly. Given that he is 39 years old. No, he's 39, honestly, but still. However, according to Corey Hayes of BodySlam.net, the placement was not a WWE decision at all. Evil requested to begin his debut and to be staying in NXT himself. Good, he's smart for that shit, honestly. Maybe I should care for him more, honestly. His WWE name has not been formally revealed yet. On the broadcast, he is described as a very evil wrestler. PW Insider has confirmed on April 24th that Evil has signed the company. The months of rumors following his New Japan Pro Wrestling departure. Right decision to have him in NXT anyways. Whether it's his decision or anybody else's decision, this is the right decision for him. I mean he probably wants to be in NXT. He used to do the umbrella and mainly American Professional Wrestling. No one knows who this guy is. So him being on NXT television, I like that quite a bit. And plus, you can probably get some contenders, both North American Championship and NXT World Championships, obviously. So I like this move from both sides, if you ask me, for Evil and also to for NXT to the developmental system of Salies as well. That's my thoughts on this for sure, if you ask me, though. On to your dumbass of the day, Carlos fucking Silva, the TNA president. Carlos Silva addresses the decision to pull TNA talent against AEW stars. Or to compete against AEW talent like MJF and Ricochet. TNA Wrestling President Carlos Silva has addressed the company's decision to pull talent from previously approved independent show matches, suggesting that the moves were made in response to what he described as an outside company coming after TNA. That's fucking hilarious. Like, anyone freaking cares about TNA. Silva appeared on Busted Open Radio and was asked about the situation he saw planned matches, including Nick Nemeth versus MJF, Create a Pro Show, and Leon Slayer versus Ricochet at the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Show, scrapped after previously receiving TNA approval. Says, and I quote, here's this bullshit excuse right here. He says, and I quote, "We're gonna make the decisions that are good for TNA." Like that's fucking hilarious. Because it could have been great for you if you had MJF competing against one of your wrestlers and Nick Nemeth. And even Ricochet against Leon Slayer has been a banger match. Fucking dumbasses, Carlos Silva out the bat. And we gotta protect TNA, and we've got some other folks come at us. Like anyone cares about TNA, honestly, in year 2026. And Dave moved into our nights. Dave made some decisions. Yeah, by doing their own case of getting away from WrestleMania. Why would you compete against WrestleMania Night 1? That's just the top of my head with that shit, honestly. Dave tried to come block us from arenas and venues, sure. And that stuff's real, sure. And that's out there, and that's okay, because everyone's got to make their decisions for their own business. But we're also not going to lie down and not make decisions that are good for our business. And unfortunately, sometimes those decisions are tough, and we're very thoughtful about them. And we've tried to do some of the best to make a good one we have are to make those decisions. And in case of Nick and Leon and a few other matches that we've had to get shut down, we try to make good and make calls to take care of our own business and as the best we could. Silva said, "I call bullshit." How can anyone take this man seriously? For protect TNA? Are you that dumb, Mr. Silva? And anything will help your roster. Get exposure from talents like MJF and even Ricochet to a point. So also ex-WWE talent too. That's just all TNA being sucking up at WWE, obviously. That's all it is. You don't understand. Does anyone think WWE has a say in this at all? You're out of your fucking mind. Of course you have a say in it. Of course you're gonna have a say in this shit, along with TNA. Ricardo Silva is a fucking idiot for this bullshit excuse here. Let's just say it for what it is. The guy, just like a part of LimisCenter yesterday, just like Nick Khan, Carlos Silva is a fucking idiot. Let's just all be fucking real with ourselves. He's just basically counting WWE under his umbrella, honestly. He did it to himself for being in a partnership with WWE and NXT more Pacific. Like these freaking bullshit excuses are not gonna sit. They're not gonna go with me. So no, he's lying right to your dick skulls, people. Protect TNA. That is just the stupidest excuse I could ever see in my freaking life. It comes to professional wrestling partnerships, locked up in this case, it says the TNA and AEW talents. That's my thoughts on this for sure, if you ask me though. Moving on to AEW news in general. Montreal is a possible city to host AEW Redemption. AEW's newly trademarked pay-per-view could be into Canada. According to Fightful Select, Montreal is the heavy favorite to host the AEW Redemption, with the announcement expected to be in the coming weeks. Report indicates that the event is likely to take place in July, right before All In and right after Forbidden Door. An AEW calendar, obviously. Fightful reported that Fightful Select was in quotes. Was informed that there would be a new pay-per-view in the AEW slate this year between Forbidden Door and All In. Well, after Forbidden Door and before All In, you get the point, obviously. Eventually, it was revealed that it would be AEW Redemption, likely in July. There has been a heavy speculation about the location of the event, and asking about around All Elite Wrestling Canada was rumored in recent weeks, with Montreal being the heavy favorite, based on those we spoke to in AEW. We've not confirmed this as of yet, but an announcement is expected in the coming weeks, end quote. Now, this event is taking place in Canada. I hope this is one or two things if we win championship gold there. I think one is maybe could be Adam Copeland and Christian Cage as the AEW World Tag Team Champions, but then again, I believe they already announced for a street fight with FTR Double or Nothing, so that's probably be out of the equation there. Or number two is Kenny Omega in the AEW World Championship. It'd be MJF probably regain the championship at Double or Nothing, if you ask me, and then it would drop until a month later again, this time in Kenny Omega, who then will go is All In as World Champion, drop until the Will Ospreay. A hot potato, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. You get the gist. Like, I don't like that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's a possibility it could happen, though. Like, what else do you want me to say? Like, seriously. The only reason for this pay-per-view and probably me every year, honestly, right before Forbidden Door and All In perspective, like that slot right between All In and Forbidden Door. But I don't like this being camp for only one reason only, because Kenny Omega will probably be the AEW World Champion coming out of it. I hope I'm wrong. And MJF goes into All In as the AEW World Champion against Will Ospreay, wins the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Listen, as much as like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for a World Championship in AEW would intrigue me, you can't really sacrifice MJF in this spot unless it's a triple threat match, which it could be the case, but I don't think that's necessary either. I hope I'm wrong, people. I hope I'm definitely wrong here. But I just can't see Kenny Omega not having a marquee match on this Redemption card, even if they have it in Vancouver for Vancouver and Dynasty for the AEW World Championship. He lost to MJF. Like, I don't see Kenny Omega, if he's challenging again for the World Championship again, he's not going to lose twice in his home country. That'd be just freaking brutal for him, honestly. So I think if I'm not saying he's going to challenge for the World Championship, I'm just saying in general if he is challenging for that championship. It's not even confirmed as pay-per-views happen. There's going to be an announcement in a couple of weeks and stuff to say at least. So I definitely keep you guys updated on this going forward. Our announcements confirmed for AEW Redemption in July for 2026, if you ask me. And finally, you're on for your LimisCenter podcast for Thursday, April 30th of 2026 on YouTube and Spotify, to say at least. Charlie, the former Dakota Kai, one of my personal favorites in women's professional wrestling, reported on yesterday at LimisCenter. Well, you get two of those for 2 days in a row for LimisCenter, discussing Charlie, the former Dakota Kai. Charlie addresses if she is looking to get signed by a major wrestling promotion. Charlie, formerly known as the WWE's Dakota Kai, is not rushing back into a major promotion, as she says. The independent scene is where she belongs right now. Speaking on Insta, Chris Van Vliet, Charlie was asked whether she was actively pursuing a contract with another company. Her answer made it clear that she is taking things at her own pace. Love hearing that for her own case, honestly. She doesn't quote, if that happens and everything works out, that would be awesome, but I think at the moment, my path right now is just being indie bookings here and there, just having fun and wrestle, Charlie said. When Chris Van Vliet raised AEW or TNA as potential land spots, she was equally measured. She doesn't quote, not necessarily on that level. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but also I took this time off. So I think getting back into it, they might happen. Who knows? But at the moment, I just want to focus on me and just do fun matches and shows there, here, and there. Yeah, have fun with it, Charlie said, end quote. I love hearing that for her. I think it's the right decision for her to make. Obviously, she's been through a lot, getting released twice in WWE, and obviously, all the injuries she had over the years. So I think she just needs to be at her own pace. Right? She's doing great stuff right now. She's faced Shotzi at House of Glory, faced Chris Dow at Wrestle Queendom. 2 very fun matches, obviously. But definitely with end goal, hopefully she can stay healthy, knock on wood. She can stay healthy and everything ends up being the case. Maybe if she wants to. I don't think she wants to, but waiting finally done. I think AEW is the perfect place for her. When it comes down to booking, like Tony Khan doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in his women's division. So I think Charlie wants to at least get some maybe some stepping stones and stuff like that. Maybe indie bookings. I think the indie bookings are great for her right now, honestly. So, but then again, I really want her in a major company. I really do. It's to be an AEW. I give people take her or leave her. Either one, it's fine. Honestly, she is so fucking good what she is. It's so great to see her wrestle and stuff like that. Watch both matches with Shotzi and Chris Down, respectively, against Charlie. Very fun matches, if you ask me. Go check that out. I was thinking it's on YouTube and stuff like that, honestly. So I hope she did. But betting endgame, I hope she does make it back to major companies or as WWE again for a third time, or even AEW 2.2. That's my thoughts on this for sure, if you ask me to say at least. That wrap up LimisCenter for your Thursday, April 30th of 2026 as well. On YouTube, Lucas Young 1018, and all audio platforms, Lucas Young Show. Thank y'all for watching LimisCenter on Lucas Young 1018 on YouTube and Lucas Young 1018. And all audio platforms, Lucas Young Show. Which is LimisCenter podcast for your Thursday, April 30th of 2026. And hopefully, knock on wood, long ass knock there, obviously. I can have your AEW Dynamite April 30th, 2031st. Jesus, April 29th, 2026 review out to say at least today on YouTube and Spotify to say at least. If not, probably tomorrow, honestly, it was LimisCenter for May 1st of 2026 as well. Anyways, until next time, I trust and definitely next time, everybody. Peace and everybody. I'm out to you. Love y'all big time to say at least.